the elect of Israel, to Israel, you Elites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American, West Indian, and the foreign Israelites. Foreign Israelites that look. Gotta give all praises to Barak, Yahawashi, Barak, Yahawah, Barak. Give all praises to Bahasham, Qadash. I'm gonna give double honors to the elders and apostles of grace. To this truth, been ordained to flock how to live, repent, pray, fast, show forth the Lord's righteousness and forgiveness. Mercy, judgment, forgiveness, and wrath to all those who are part of the elect and to the hopeful elect. Lord willing, we be part of that number. Honor those who fear in the name of the Lord and strive with the Lord's righteousness every day to the best of their abilities. The judgment always comes to love. Verse 5 and is not slack. 2 Peter verse 9 is unto a ring. 2 Ezra chapter 5 verse 42. Willingness edifying to the flock. I wanted to go over some precepts or a dream that I've had when I was a kid. And basically it was like it was me, but I don't think I looked like me because it was like I first started off, it was like in like a, and like the reason I knew it was my brother, my old brother. I got an older brother, but it didn't look like him, you know. We look like different people, you know. Like he didn't look like me, or I didn't look like me, and he didn't look like him, but it was us. We was with a couple other people. I didn't know who those people were, but it's like I knew them, you know, exactly who they were. They was all like born, and it was like I was watching them, but getting all this food and stuff for these rabbits, right? And there was a whole bunch of rabbits in this barn, rabbits or whatever, and feeding them. And they was like, you know, it had a big old food bin full of cut up carrots and stuff like that. And another food bin, so it was like rabbits. Okay. And I always had to understand what it meant. But you know, like the Lord's putting the spirit on me to go ahead and put some precepts with it. Because it makes sense. You know, because I just same dream this morning. So anyways, things start happening to we in a life-threatening situation. And it kind of skips scenes a little. And we're running away from somebody. And like I never saw who it was. It could have been Esau, Edom, you know, just anybody, you know, who was running from something. And we was running, and we was trying to get away or whatever. But how we were doing it, it was like everything was set up where we was going through from people's houses. Okay, and these people's houses really, it wasn't even look like their house. It looked like a bunch of little barns, and each one of them, it was like a lady in there, a guy in there, and it was like a system of the whole town, and they're feeding all these animals. Okay, I don't think like they lived in there. To see the house, I just seen like us running through these different barns to get away from this person and stay hidden. And where we was out in the open and we had to get away, and I see my brother, he jumped in this hole. And when I went to the hole, one thing I'm about, like, I don't like jumping and crawling through no hole, through no chaos like that. Because I got a feeling like it's not going, you know what I mean? I'm not going get stuck. Lucky for the interruption with the screen. But for some reason, all right, I'm gonna have to go down here. This is where my went, and I jumped in the hole, right? It looked like a big old rabbit hole, like I jumped. And I thought I was gonna have to crawl through some dirt for a minute. I thought I was gonna go, you know. But when I like as soon as you look under it, it's okay, it's like a house down there. And there was this lady, she was like feeding some animals, like it wasn't like no chairs in there, like she was feeding stuff, but it looked like she like knew me or something. She was just like, so I kept running and we got through there or whatever. And then it was like we got to the point to where there was something that we do to make sure like these people, we got to working on something, and then like it kind of skipped scenes again. We had gotten away, and we at the barn. We was back at the barn, and like up there and carrots and stuff up or whatever, getting the stuff ready for the rabbits again. You know, it looked like a whole like a rural town. I'm from Mississippi, so I was kind of having this dream a lot when and like we just cut stuff in this, and all of a sudden like something told me like, you know, like we was in danger again. I was like, get out of the barn, get out of the barn. It's gonna explode. Get out the barn. But nobody could understand like what are you talking about? Like ain't that going on right now? Like, no, come out. The barn's gonna blow up. It's gonna blow up or something, right? So I get everybody comes outside, and then sure enough, the barn started catching fire. Okay. And so I thought it might have been my mom, but it wasn't like my mom. Like it was like we was like in different bodies or something. Okay. In a different time or something. And she went in there and tried to see what was going on and came back and everything. And then it's like handled the situation or something. And we was back in the barn doing the work. Okay. So then I woke up, but I've had that dream several times of my life, you know, more than a dozen times, you know, so much I can remember it. I haven't had years. I had it this morning. I feel like the Lord's wanting me to do some precepts over it. So, you know, Lord willing to set a fire to the pot. And basically, what I feel like it means is like it means, you know, you know how it talks. You tell Simon Peter, you know, be my sheep, you know, and that was kind of. I feel like that's what it represented in a sense when it came to dealing with those. They wanted something to eat every day. We had to feed them. So I feel like, you know, more spiritual than anything, you know. So like it anything to do with feeding rabbits and whatnot. You know, he keep going in and out. Let me try something else because it's acting real funny. Shoot, lucky. But anyways, before I get into this, I need to check my stuff, make sure it's not lagging real bad. And getting a lot of I've been getting a lot of interference. I've seen other brothers. They got a lot of, get a lot of interference. You saw he done been messing with the internet. Like that, we're pushing this truth real hard. It's just what it is. We got to keep moving. Man. Should be working a little bit better. Trying to change up something real quick. All right, anyways, we're going to start with 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13. All right. It's 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13. There have been no temptation taking you but such as common to man. Such as common to man, but the Most High, which is Yahawah, is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above what you're able. So, I feel like that dream kind of represented, a lot of stuff that was trying to keep us from doing the work, and but we still managed to figure out a way to escape and to keep in that work, in all those situations, in that dream. So basically, who will not suffer you to be tempted above what you're able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it. And that's what happened, in that dream, went through trying to get away from these people, and had to run through all these different alleyways and stuff, but the Lord made a way to escape out of there, And that's kind of how we are through our everyday life, and the righteous get saved. So it's going to be a life-threatening situation where we barely make it out of. We are the elect, and we hope to be part of that number. We're going to go through things. So this is James chapter 1, verse 12, and it reads, "Blessed is the man of temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord Yahawashi which the Lord Yahawashi have promised them that love him." So when we're tried, we gotta, endure to the end, even through death, or through escape, one of the two, or he let us escape. So it's verse 13. "Let no tempted, I am tempted of the Most High, for the Most High cannot be tempted with either evil, neither tempteth he any man." We can't blame the Most High when we go off. We can't say, well, the Lord tempted me to do that. He delivers people from the temptation. Temptation that's our own lust and our own desires that we want. And that's why we got to cast off that old man and do this work. And so let's keep going. This is Job chapter 15. And it reads, "He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles. Yea, in the 7 there shall no evil touch thee." So, this is us going through these troubles right now, But in the 7th there shall no evil touch the elect. Whenever Jacob's trouble will come, we'll go through struggles. Of course, some of us are gonna have to die, for this truth. But there's a very large number of the elect that's not going to even get touched. They're going to have to escape and run and do whatever. But, throughout all of that, they're not going to get touched. And that's how it was in that dream. We was trying to get away, but nothing ended up getting us, but we was in danger. See? This is verse 20. "In famine shall he redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword." And that's what we redeemed from, coming up pretty soon. And a lot of the elders and the apostles and the brothers been talking about a woman that just got online, and she was talking about how, basically Jacob's trouble was coming, but she didn't put no precepts in that. She wasn't doing wrong by just, saying get your mind right, get your house right, But when it comes down to it, this is what the elders and apostles been telling us. We don't need that lady to teach us nothing, We already have gotten this warning from the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for the last 40 years, Just some of us are just waking up now. So Job chapter 5, verse 21, "Thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither thou shalt be afraid of destruction when it cometh." And that's the spirit that we want when destruction cometh. Because when I was in this dream and we was running, trying to get away, it wasn't like I was necessarily scared. Shalom. I wasn't necessarily scared, but I knew it was danger. We had to get away, So that's kind of like, what this dream reminds me of, But growing up, having this dream over and over again, I never really understood what it meant. But it all comes back to the scriptures, And yesterday, I was at camp, elder, and there was a lady. She came up and she was an atheist, okay, and the fact that she even stopped and said, talking about how we come out there every week, and she said it's admirable what we're doing and whatnot, and all that. It's kind of like she thought it was just like a little story or something, like it was just a game or something. But when we really started giving the precepts and teaching her stuff, because you can't be an atheist and say you don't believe in the Most High, because you're basically against the Most High and trying to prove that, you know, they're not, they're trying to like prove that, the Most High doesn't exist by not following them, so that's just straight rebellion, but, took like a so-called white woman, so she might not even be part of Israel, but, we test the spirits. And we asked her like, well, if somebody attacked your kids, what would you do? What would you do to defend? Like, what would you do? And she was like, I have morals, and she was like saying like, that's not right. And then we was like, okay, well, that all goes back to the Bible. Thou shalt not kill. All these kind of things that these so-called just places standards have been set up, but Esau Edom just don't follow them. And that's why this place is in sin, And, we just kind of broke it down to her. And at the end, she was considering it, It's for an atheist to consider this truth. And then we got 2/3 of our people, who, they know that a lot of them know that they hurt. They don't even think about trying to pay attention, So it's just, you can't judge off the outward appearance. It's got to be, because we don't know who's who. We just know by the Spirit. So Revelation chapter 3, verse 10, as thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world, try them that dwell upon the earth. And that's what's coming. We're all finna be tried. The Lord's really gonna test to see if we really do care about Bahasham and Rawchaa. We're hoping to be part of that number that, regardless of whether we perish here or not, we're part of the elect, because some of the elect, like I said, they're gonna die, they're gonna come right back. So it's really not really like you even died. You just, the Lord took you out of that scene because it was way more evil coming, and he has some different purpose for you. This is all the Lord's will. So First Peter chapter 5, verse 8, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. And in that dream, he was trying to get me and my older brother. And I don't know why I knew it was my older brother, but it didn't look like him, like I was saying. But we was running from him, and we was going through all these little houses, these little barns, and every time you went through one, you would see people like feeding animals, some type of animal. So they was trying to find. He was trying so he could get us. He didn't want us to be doing that work. He didn't want us to be taking care of them animals, and that's kind of how it is out here. Esau Edom doesn't want us taking care of the flock, so he's after us in a lot of ways, trying to get us to go off in all these other different little ways. So verse 9, whom resist steadfast in the faith, knowing that the same afflictions are common to brethren that are in the world. So we're not the only ones going through this. And the off-ball go through stuff too, the women. And we're all going through afflictions. But it's a good thing that we're going through afflictions, because that's what's going to make us, going to make him have mercy on us later, whenever everybody else is getting judged, because they're not being afflicted right now. So you got to be afflicted. You got to be in a tough situation for the majority of the time. This is training. This part is what brings endurance for your faith. So Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. And we're supposed to be like that because we got all these people watching. It might not look like it. It might not look like, nobody's really paying attention, but people are paying attention. People are starting to wake up. Just a lot of people are afraid to say things because they've been wrong for so long. So we got to be strong in the Yahawashi because you never know who's watching. You don't want to have them that the Lord is not strong. We're representing the Lord. We're supposed to be men. We got to present ourselves as tougher than the majority of the people out here. in the spirit, you know. So 1 John chapter 3, verse 16, hereby perceive we the love of the Most High, because he laid down his life for us, and we ought to live lives for the brethren. And that's our job. We're supposed to lay down our lives for the brotherhood and be ready to die for us. You know, this ain't something light. You know, this is not for the weak-hearted. This is not for the people who, you know, are ready to die for what they believe. Got a lot of people who claim they love the Lord, but they're not ready to die for the Lord. You know, you got to be ready to die for the Lord if it is point. You know, if you're not, you're gonna take that seat here. You know, that charagma is gonna be over. You know, the path to repentance will be done. You know, for whoever takes that RFDI CHIP. You know, and, you know, you got a lot of Christians. They think they're gonna get out of this, so they're going online and about the mark of the beast and being like, yeah, you guys better be ready. But we're not. We're gonna get beamed up. You're not gonna get beamed up. You're gonna have to go through it. They talk about gonna try the whole world. You know, and this is why, you know. And then at the end of the dream, like I said, like it was talking about. I was talking about I was in the house. I was in the barn, and we was feeding those animals, and then for some reason something felt like alarm until it was like an alarm in my head went off, and it was like, get out of the barn, it's gonna blow up, it's gonna catch fire. You know, it was almost like they was trying to get back at us or something. The people that we got away from, like they was trying to kill us in the barn or something. Well, I didn't see no enemy, you know, and that's how the enemy is here. They're hidden. They try to like act like they not coming against you. And that's why we got to keep, you know, stay in prayer, you know, and always be circumspect and know what's around us, because they trying to attack us at all times, you know. And what's crazy about it is that most people that they use to attack us, they don't even know, because they're oblivious to everything that's going on around them. So the devil's using them and they don't even know it. They just going around like, what are you talking about? You know, almost. This is Numbers chapter 10, verse 9. And this is how we were back then in Israel in the ancient times when we went to war. If you go to war, and we're at war right now, we're in spiritual war. If you go to war in your land against the enemy that oppressive you, right now we in war, they're oppressing us, then ye shall blow an alarm with the trumpets. See, that's how we did back then. Those were actual trumpets, you know. And ye shall be remembered before the Lord Yahawashi your power, and you shall be made from your enemies. And right now, this is why we're blowing the trumpet. That's why it says in Ezekiel chapter 9, you know, mark those men that cry outside about the abominations in the midst thereof. You know, chapter 9, verse 4. That's why we're blowing the trumpet. We're doing the same thing we did last time, but we're now the trumpet. And we're blowing that whistle saying, hey, the place is finna be on fire. We got to get out of here, you know? And almost like when you tell them, like when I told them in the barn it was going to happen, they was like, nah, talking about. They don't ever listen, you know? And what made it real significant to me is I'm the only person in my family that's in it. There's nobody else in my immediate family that's like, you know, part of my physical bloodline. None of them believe in Yahawashi. So when I told them, I said, this is the true gospel. This is what's going on. This is what's happening. They were like, nah, I don't know what you're talking about. And like I said, in the dream, my mom went back to go check in the barn and came back out and smoke was all over. And you know what I mean? That's how 2/3 is. They got to see something. They got to see something to believe it, you know? And that's what makes us different than 2/3. I'm not saying my mom is 2/3. Lord willing, she not. Lord willing, Lord spares her, even though they don't believe in the truth off of my faith and off my word. But if she don't, hey, you know, she's got to pay for what she did to Yahawashi back then. That's just how we got to look at it, you know? The Lord's not no respecter of persons. And as much as we want people to make it, we got to put Yahawashi first. This ain't about us. You know, we got to preach it how it's supposed to be preached. You know, so Joel chapter 2, verse 1, blow ye the trumpet in Zion and sound an alarm on my holy mountain, which is Israel, nation of Israel. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand. See? So that's coming down. That's what's going down, you know. And we blowing that trumpet and we want it on the day out, you know. That's what we're supposed to do. There's a fire coming, you know. It's going to be in places, going to be engulfed, you know. We got to keep telling them, you know, until the Lord says stop. So this is Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 7. For that day is great, so that none is like it. Even it is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved. See? So that's, you know, that's where we at right now, you know. Saved out of this trouble. You see what I'm saying? So this is First Corinthians, you know, and we get saved out of this, you know. And just like everything else in our life, if you're really in the truth, if you're really somebody who was there with Bahasham Rawchaa was saying these things were going to happen, you know, we're going to be going through struggles at this time. You know, that's just how it's going to be. You know, that's the way the Lord set it up. I'm coming to this truth without no struggles. But in the end, he's going to make a way through all that. He's going to make a route where you can get out of there. And that's kind of how that dream was. It was like out of everything that was happening, you know, he had a way for us to get out of there. Even when it looked like there was no, it was all, we were surrounded. It was just a little hole in the ground. There was a house opening in the bottom of that house. Like, you know, it was real, you know, spiritually. It just looked to me, showed me like, you know, we're going to be surrounded on all sides. There's only going to be one out. That's Yahawah. So First Corinthians chapter 12, verse 12, it reads, for as the body is one and hath many members, and all the members of that one body, just like when we was in there, everybody was doing something for the animal. All of them were, you know, they were. My brother was precarious. There's a younger lady. I don't know. It could have been my little sister, but I didn't really know. She was doing something like he was shredding some carrots and she was cutting some cabbage. Another person in there, you know, parting something else for the rabbits, and they were doing everything at once. But I was just watching, you know, and that's why it made sense to me, because like I was the watchman. I was the one to be like, hey, the house is on fire, because I seen it, and they was just like, what are you talking about? You know, that's what I feel like the Lord called me to do, to be a watchman, to watch, you know, put out stuff that, you know, everybody else ain't seeing, just like Great Millstone does. They said they telling us all the stuff we ain't seeing, and now we see now, you know, and we taking in, you know, we coming under their wing and we doing the job. So, you know, some people are watchmen, some are evangelists, some are you know, teachers. You know, this is all to bring the body together. So being many are one body, so also is a Mashiach. For by one spirit we are all baptized, this is spiritually, into one body, whether we be Jews or Gentiles. And the Gentiles, we know those are, you know, the ones who were alien, basically cast out, and we were brought back. You know, we're the Gentiles, you know, because we were alienated from our heritage, and we became Hellenistic. When you look at the word Hellenistic, we had basically Roman customs, you know, and now we're back. You know, even when you look into Acts chapter 10, verse 28, it talks about how, when you look at that word nation, when it talks about Peter was bringing these unclean animals to Cornelius, when you look at that word nation, it means the 12, one of the people descended from the 12 tribes of the patriarch Jacob through the Bible for Israel. So whether we be bond or free, and have been all made to drink into one spirit, and that's how we all be able to understand these dark sayings. So we're all scattered across the earth. A lot of us haven't even met each other in person, but we're connected in the spirit. Verse 14, for the body is not one many, you know, and that's why Great Millstone says you don't got to be in Great Millstone to be delivered, but you got to be of the governing body of Great Millstone to follow the doctrine, you know, show love to the brotherhood because he's a part of the commandments. We're supposed to lay down our lives for the brotherhood. Verse 15, if the foot shall say, because I am not the hand, I am not of, is it therefore not of the body? And that's what it's saying. Like there's no part, every part of the body needs another part. You know, there's no part of the body. There's a part of the body that's ranking. You know, when it comes to the brotherhood, but the body all needed. Like you can't walk if you're missing your big toe. You know, a lot of people don't really think about it like that. But if you missing your big toe, you can't walk. If you missing your pinky, there's certain things you can't grab. You know, this is all important. So it's 1 Corinthians 12, verse 16. And if the ear shall say, because I am not the eye, I am not of the body, is it therefore not a body? Yeah, it's still part of the body, even though it's not really looked upon, you know. Verse 7, whole body were an eye, where were the hearing? So see, is everything's needed, specific. If the whole were hearing, where were the smelling? So we all don't do this. Some of us bring something different to the table, you know, to offer to Yahawah, Rawchaa. But we all bring our bodies, you know, spiritually, you know, our time and our efforts, you know. Verse 18, but now have the Most High set the members of every one of the body as it has pleased him. See, we want to fit in the fit where he wants us to fit. We don't want to put ourselves where we want to. We want to see where the Lord wants us to be at in the body. So, verse 19, and if they were all one member, where were the body? See, but now are many, but now are they members, but yet one body. So we have different, you know, callings in this truth. Different things that we're supposed to, that we all, you know, the Lord puts the Spirit on us to do certain things. So verse, and the eye cannot say unto the hand, I have no need of thee, nor again to the head, to the feet, I have no need of you. So we can never be like, you know, brother can't put something for across to the table if they're giving it their all, you know. And this is just, you know, something that we all need to keep in mind, because as you grow into this truth, the Lord's going to send people that, you know, they're not going to get it first. They're going to struggle with it. You know, maybe got to be a little longer and patient with them, you know, depending on what person you're dealing with. The Lord might put the Spirit on you, you know, to look out for brothers, you know. Some brothers, you know, it take longer. Some other brothers take longer to get it, you know. But they might be part of the body, so we don't want to just cause people not to be if they're sincere, you know, and really want to understand. So in the eye cannot say unto the hand, I have no need of thee, nor again to the head, to the feet, I have no need of you. Verse 22, nay, much more those members which seem to be more feeble are necessary. So that's why you want to be, you know, you want to, you know, make sure that just because somebody isn't as strong as you in the faith, you know, you want to be careful. That's what the Lord put in the Spirit on me to say about it. Just be careful, because we don't want to put a stumbling block in front of none of our brethren, you know. Now, if you just, you know, if you steady trying to get them to, you know, steady encourage them to do the work or whatever, and they just showing no effort, then, you know, that's different. But the ones that are showing that they just, you know, are not as strong in most aspects, you know, we're supposed to, you know, look at them as they're necessary, just like, you know, we wanted to when we came into the truth, you know. So verse 23, and those members of the body which we think to be low, upon these we bestow more abundant honor, and our comely parts have more abundant comely. And, you know, that's just, you know, basically saying, like, you can learn something from everybody in the brotherhood. Just because it don't look, you know, they're doing as much as somebody else, that don't mean nothing. Like, they could be a very, important parts of the body and say something that's edifying to you in a situation that nobody else is talking about, but come across things that the Lord wants us to talk about for the day. You know, it's going to reach the elect. That's all. We're not worried about it reaching the elect. It's going to reach the elect. You know, a lot of the elders and apostles are saying 44,000 elect are already sealed. So, you know, that's what they believe. You know, we can't prove it. But that's what they believe, you know, and I believe what they say too. You know, Lord willing, we're sealed and we're part of that number. Actually being sealed is, you know, you being born again in this truth. And we live in day to day as if, you know, this is our lives, you know. So, you know, we believe. We showing with our works that we do. So, verse 24, for our comely parts have no need, but the Most High have tempered the body together, having given more abundant honor to the part that which lack. And that's what we do. We're here to fulfill our full measure, even if it's not as much as another brother's. Because it's still important to Yahawashi should be complete. So verse 25, there should be no schism in the body, which means, you know, leg can't be going, one foot going left and other foot going right. It's got to be all moving as one. But and how we do that is structure. But that the members should have the same care for one another. You know, just because somebody has a higher rank or less doesn't mean you're supposed to treat them any different. You know, we're supposed to look out for each other. So verse 26, and with one member suffer, all the members suffer with it. Or one member be honored, all the members rejoice with it. And that's why we want to, you know, all come together as one. You know, when it comes to this truth, not all the Israel will let, you know, and try to put on this image to the best of our abilities for the Lord. You know, so verse 26, now ye are the body of the Mashiach, and members in particular, you know, and it said we're, you know, superior people. We're not supposed to be like everybody else, you know. So this is Proverbs chapter 29. 29 verse 2, and it reads, righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. And that's why he's training us to be in sync as one, so the people can get back to rejoicing, and we can get back to rejoicing. We get done with this place. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn, you know. So, you know, that's what's going on right now. A lot of people are mourning. Nobody's happy here. We be doing sometimes lessons on the street out there on highways, and you'll see Esau Edom, you know, praising his hand, praising and saying, man, I'm glad they doing that because they tired of this place. That some of them want the end. Some of them hate it here, you know. And you know, but you still got your aid out here, because you know where I'm at in Norman, there's not no IUIC or ISUPK on the highways and byways nowhere over here. They don't see it as sufficient. They don't see it's a big deal, but there's some of the members of the body out here that need to get reach this truth. So that's why we're out here. Lord didn't have us on the spirit to do this for no reason, you know. But an agent pulled up the other day, and he was in a nice little black car. He's like, you an IUIC or you an ISUPK? And you know, I don't usually answer people ask stuff. You know, I let the elder answer. And he was like, neither. He didn't say nothing else. And the dude didn't say nothing else. He just looked over, kind of shook his head, rolled his window up, and drove off. Because they know he part of GMS. They know I'm a follower. Because why? Because we're not there doing it for money, and they don't want the world to end. They don't want things to go bad. But they know that we're really the ones out here really working for Yahawashi. You know, we believe we are the prophets of old. You know, and you got to think about the 12 disciples. It wasn't just them. They had young ones that would go out there and teach the same doctrine just today. So I'm not saying I'm one of the 12. I'm just saying that I'm one of the ones that follow them. I believe, you know, because I'm following them. And I'm doing everything I can, you know. edify the flock. You know, it's all ranking. I came in here late. You know, came here about a year ago. So this is 54 verse 35. Did not the souls also of the righteous ask question of those things in their chamber, saying, how long shall I hope on this fashion? Talking about these wicked kingdoms being taken down. Ooh. When cometh the fruit of the flower of our the floor of our reward, and that's what we're going to time is our reward. You know, even if some of us perish, we're going to still get that reward, which is, you know, to dwell in Yahawashi and have the throne. You know, be a part of the throne and rule in the universe. About like the throne, it's not talking about. It's not talking about like just sitting on some damn chairs. It's talking about the whole kingdom is going to be ours. So verse 32, and he said unto these things, Uriel the archangel gave them answer. And that's the angel that the Lord sent to Esdras to get all these answers. He sent him to give him those answers. And said, even when the number of seeds is filled with it, we had to fulfill our measure through each one of our lives. You know, for he hath weighed the world in verse 37, by measure, as he measured the times, and by the number, he numbered the times, and he doeth not move nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled. So there's a certain time period that he fulfilled, you know, and that time, you know, we believe it's up. We can't say when. We don't know when. The Lord said, even Yahawashi doesn't even know the day. Only the Father knows the day of judgment. So we don't know, but we know that it's soon. Why? Because of the signs. That's all we have, our faith and the signs. You know, understanding that we're in the days of evil. So this is 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 14. I got it. 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 14. Now, thanks be to the Most High, which always us to triumph in the Mashiach and make it manifest the Savior of his knowledge. It's 2:14. Okay, knowledge of us in every place, and that's a good one too. But that's not the one I want. 14, but that's a good one too. You know, and that's what we're supposed to do: make knowledge of the Lord in every place. And that's why even in these small towns, ain't nobody over there. Yeah, there's the elects over there. They're scattered everywhere. So it's gotta reach everywhere, you know, to the best of our abilities. And that's why we go through, you know, as burden is light. We have this unicorn. But soon that's going to be done with, you know. But we're still going to keep teaching if the elders and apostles don't tell the truths. So 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 14, for we stretch not ourselves beyond our measure, as though we were not unto you, for we are come as far as to you also in the gospel of the Mashiach, you know. And see, we're not going to stretch ourselves beyond our measure. You know, we're going to do whatever the Lord told us to do. Verse 15, not boasting of the things without our measure, that is other men's labor, see, but having hope. So when another brother's done more work and things, you know, we're just supposed to hold to a more honorable, you know, be honored them more, have a level of respect for them, you know, because it's how you treat my men is how you treat your Bahasham and Yahawashi, you know. They put their lives on the line for a long time. We have brothers die in this truth, you know. So not boasting of things without our measure, that is of other men's labors, but having hope. When your faith is increased, that we be enlarged by you according to our rule abundant. Because we listened and we kept going to preach the gospel in the regions beyond you, and not another man's line of things already to our hand. So everybody's got got their position. You know, just to the best of your abilities, and the Lord's gonna take care of you. You know, we're not worried about, you know, not worried about, you know, where we're gonna be at. We just want to be with Yahawashi. So this is 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 9. And it reads, and he said unto you, or he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee. Strength is made perfect in weakness. And this is why he keeps us lowly. You know, he keeps us to where we're struggling, keeps us to where we're always, you know, work just to get by. Most gladly, therefore, I would rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Mashiach may rest upon me. And that's a good sign, you know. And it's not saying being poor, like poor, but what it means by weakness is it's like you go a week or two without work, you screwed, you know. We can't survive, you know, unless we toil, you know. And that's, he's got it like that, so favor on us, because everybody else who's living comfortable is about to have a really bad time, you know. And a lot of judgment coming across this year, a lot of judgment. So Ephesians chapter 4, verse 13, till we all come in the unity and of the knowledge of the Son of the Most High. And, you know, he's the potter, so this is going to happen. There's not like we're waiting on anybody. It's happening. So in the end of the knowledge of the Son of the Most High, unto a perfect man, unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of the Mashiach. See, so this is what we're doing right now with us every day, is we wake up and we get into this truth, that we henceforth be no more children tossed to and fro, believing in other doctrines, watching other camps, carried about with every wind of doctrine. And I was blessed enough where the Lord made it where all I did was watch God. I didn't come in and learn about any other camps. I learned about the other camps from GMS saying that they going off. So with every wind of doctrine, by the sleight of men and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie in wait to deceive. See, that's what they do. They deceiving our people. But speaking in truth and love into him in all things, which is the head, even the Mashiach, from whom the whole body fitly joined together and compacted by that which supplieth. And see, even your joints, even the little muscles and all that, we all are playing some part, according to the effect and the measure of every part, maketh increase of the body into the edifying of itself in love. And that's what this love is, us doing this work, you know, putting these spiritual bricks up for the tabernacle of King David, you know, and laying our lives down to make sure this gets done. So Mark 4. And it reads, and he said unto them, take heed what ye hear, and with what meat it shall be measured unto you, and unto you that hear shall more be given. And that's going both ways. You know, you gotta make sure that you know that what you're getting into, the more you learn and the more you prepare yourself, the more you're gonna go through stuff, you know, and it'll increase you as well. So I want to pull that up, and I want to look up that word meat to show you what that means, because that's like M-E-T-E. Show what that means. You know, there's, you know, so we gotta take heed to what we hear. You gotta meet a certain measure, but this isn't like, this is a different type of meat.
Strong's G 3354. Metreo.
To measure out or off any space or distance with a measures rule, metaphorically to judge according to any rule or standard, to estimate, to measure out, meet to measure. You see? So we got to measure and rightly divide this word of truth and measure out what is really like. Why are we here being judged? You know, why is 2/3 being here judged? Why is the other nations here being judged? We got to learn that to the fullness, you know, and also other things concerning, you know, some of that our forefathers got through, because that was us. You know, if we can understand these precepts, we was one of those people that went through something at that time, and maybe it wasn't written, maybe it was, but we got through it. But the of our people were able to go back and learn how they survived things, how they got through things, how the Lord delivered them through things. So this is my last precept, and I'm gonna close out. Joel chapter 2, verse 28. Then shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out on all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. You know, when it talks about, the daughters prophesying, that's how, women will have dreams and whatnot, but they are to give it to their husbands, and the husbands are also supposed to present it to the congregation. That's how it's supposed to be. Your old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions. And that was a dream that I had a lot of times growing as a kid, and I never knew what it meant. So I thought I'd just, bring that out to edify the flock, and it was edifying. So Shalom to the elect of Israel, to the hopeful elect of Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, it's all Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indian Haitians, and the foreign Israelites that look like the other nations scattered across the four corners of the earth. All praise to Barak, Yahawah, Barak, Yahawashi, Barak, Yahawah, Barak, Yahawashi. Gotta give all praise to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. We give double honors to those and apostles of great millstone. Led me to this truth, been ordained by the Lord to teach the flock how to live and pray fast and show forth the Lord's righteousness and mercy, judgment, forgiveness, and wrath to all those who are part of the elect and to the hopeful elect. Lord willing, part of that number. Lord willing, this be edifying to those who fear in the name. Judgment always comes to light. Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 5, and it's not slack. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 9 is untrue. Read 2 Peter chapter 5, verse 42. And Lord willing, we'll get out of here real soon. And if not, Lord will give us another day and bless us with another day to exalt Bahasham. So, why, Bob, Shalom.